Good morning and welcome to day 9 of Vlogmas. It is Wednesday, yes it is Wednesday, the 9th of December. I hope you're all well and having a good day, whatever you're up to. I've got my cowl on today because it's a little bit chilly and obviously we have had the heating on, but I don't want to turn the thermostat up anymore. Basically, the room that I tend to sit and kind of work and do everything in the day is our front living room, which is quite a small room, and the radiator that's in here is really big and throws out a lot of heat, and Eloise very kindly broke the valve on the radiator by standing on it kind of earlier in the year, and I'm sure there's a way that we can replace it, but basically I can't turn the valve on the radiator down, so the room gets too hot. That's a very boring story, but that's why I'm wearing my cowl. I also have a cup of tea, because, you know, that's another good way to warm yourself up. I didn't manage to ball up all of my minis for my Kalani scarf last night, but I did select all the minis, and I've laid them all out, so I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you what I have chosen. So I have got my Hedgerow Yarns bag here that came with my Hedgerow Yarns order, and I've popped the little lavender sachet in there as well to keep everything smelling lovely. And then this is the floof that I ordered from Hedgerow Yarns. This is the floof that was left over from knitting my cowl, the one that I'm wearing, and then this is another one which it's just undyed, so it's naked, and it is Surrey Silk Cloud, 74% baby Surrey alpaca, 26% mulberry silk, 300 meters to 50 grams, and I have made sure that I've ordered enough of those to be able to make up the whole scarf, because it is undyed. If I just see if I can unwind a little bit off here for you. So it is undyed, and I don't therefore think that it's going to take too much away from the colours of the minis that I have decided to use. So let me show you those. I'll just remind you of the pattern first of all. So it is the Kalani Scarf, and it's by Amy Ladd and Taylor S Studio. And I'm going to cast this on Christmas Eve, although I think a Christmas Eve cast on is supposed to be socks, but yeah, I'm rebelling a little. Anyway, so those are the floof, and then I have laid out, if I come back so that you can see, let me move back out of the way. So these are the minis that I have chosen. Now, when I spoke to you about this previously, I said that I was thinking about using 10-gram minis. The pattern says to use, I think it's about 12 grams of 24 different minis. And I didn't know whether I kind of had enough 20-gram minis to that would go together for me to make the scarf, but when I have come and looked at my stash, I have, so I'm going to use the 20-gram minis, and then I've got other plans for what to do with 10-gram minis that I'll talk to you about another time. So I'm just going to show you all of the colours that I have gone for. So some of these I know what they are and some of them I don't, and these are all minis that I have either bought myself through the year or I have had in swaps. So where I can, I will try and tell you what they all are. So this one is a Wild Rose yarn. This is from Michelle, and this was a mini from her set called In My Little Garden, and you can see it's just got a few little speckles there. This one I had in a swap. I got this in my swap that I did with Sal recently. Wool is the answer, and it's berry, and that's a really nice kind of more of a pinky shade. The colours aren't coming out too bad actually on here, but what I will do is at the end I'll pop a picture in that I've taken, that I've posted on my Instagram, so that you can see them all a little bit better. This one is another Wild Rose yarn. I don't know the colourway for that because I got that in a swap, but that is lovely. This one is what I opened yesterday from Karen, because it kind of, the package felt like a mini, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I'm going to want to use that in my scarf, and I do. So thank you, Karen, for that one. I don't know who that's by, but you can see it's a lovely, shall I go into the yarns rather than picking them all up for you? It's a lovely kind of peachy baby pinky colour. This one, I got this one in a swap that I did with Sarah from Yarn Mugs, and I believe that this is a Nora George. Again, I don't know the colourway, but that's where that one came from. This one is another one from my swap with Sal, which is much more peachy than pinky. It's coming out more kind of pinky, but it is much more peach. And I don't know who that is by, but that was from my swap with Sal. This one here, I think is Now this is where I fall down. No, this is another one from Michelle's mini set from Wild Rose Yarn, In My Little Garden. This one, these are all sock yarn, but this one isn't. This is 100% merino singles, and that I bought on eBay a long time ago, and it was by Moss Cottage Yarns. And I don't think it will matter mixing the two different kind of fibre compositions in the yarn there. So that one's there. This one, I think, again, is from the My Little Garden collection. Sorry, I'm moving about a bit here. This one is the In My Little Garden collection from Michelle at Wild Rose Yarn. This one is from Helen at Giddy Yarns, and this was part of her Fun Fair mini collection. I think it might have been called Candy Floss, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's Helen's yarn. And then actually a few of these are Helen's now. So this is Helen's George's Marvellous Medicine colourway from her Bedtime Story collection. This is Helen's The Railway Children from her Bedtime Story collection. All of the Bedtime Story minis have gone into here because they just worked really, really well. This is another Helen yarn, and this is the Lavender Fairy from her Flower Fairies collection. This again is Helen, and this one again is from her Fun Fair collection, and I believe that was either called Helter Skelter or Waltzes. If you go on Helen's website, I know she had full skeins in those, so you'll be able to see what colour that was, but it was definitely from her Fun Fair collection. These two are very, very similar. This one's got more white in it, and this one's got a little bit more of a kind of a pale yellow in it, but those two again are from my swap with Sarah from Yarn Mugs, and they are Nora George. This is another from Helen's Bedtime Story collection. Let me just move a little bit. I think this one is her... now that's not the Secret Garden, is it? No, that's the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, I think, from her Bedtime Story collection. This one is the Sea of Adventure from Helen at Giddy Yarns from her Bedtime Story collection. This one is another from Michelle at Wild Rose Yarns from the In My Little Garden mini bundle. This one is, goodness me, how many have I done from Bedtime Stories and things? I think this might be the Primrose Fairy from Helen at Giddy Yarns' Flower Fairies collection. It's definitely from Helen, and I think it's from the Flower Fairies collection, because it can't be from the Bedtime Stories because I've done all of those. At least I think I have, because that is her Secret Garden colourway from her Bedtime Stories collection. And then this one is another swap, one that I had, and this is Michelle at Wild Rose Yarn again. That came in a set with this one, and you can see the speckles in there are very similar, so that's that one. And then the last one is from a swap that I did with my friend Nikki, that she sent me recently when we did the project bag swap. So that is going to go at the end. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to do a little bit of a fade all the way through from sort of purpley pinks, and then there's a blue in there, a little bit of lilac, and then going through to blues and greens and into more kind of yellowy greens, and then back to a definite green at the end. I've not tried to make it any kind of rainbow, excuse me, rainbow fade particularly, but these are all my favourite colours. My absolute favourite colours are blue and green, and I love pastel shades, and then I just love pastel colours anyway, so peaches and pinks and purples and things. So I've tried to incorporate all of my favourite colours in there. And it's good that I'm recording this because I know I'm going to forget the order that I've laid these out in. I've also taken a photograph, which I will pop on the screen after I finish talking to you, so that I will have the photograph to be able to look back at. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop all of these minis into my, excuse me, into my project bag that I'm going to use, that was from Jane, and then I'm just going to ball them up, I think, as I come to them, or as I've got a little bit of time to sit down and get on with it.